Hey guys, and welcome to my brand new FM21 series called Stuttgart über alles. Don't worry, I'm not gonna speak German unless I'm gonna swear and I don't want to bleep it out. Then you might hear some German curse words. Now, my name is Jochen, aka Leyodemus, and I am honored to be your host. I think by now it is clear what we are going to do. Since I'm all dressed up and whatnot, we are going to manage one club and one club only in this series, Stuttgart in the German Bundesliga. Now, if you are new to FM21, I'm going to show you one thing that is a huge improvement if we compare it to FM20, and that is the loading and saving times. Well, let me just see. If I simply click on load game and I choose my Stuttgart save, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, bam. 6 seconds, and I will show you why that's quick. I have quite some leagues loaded up. If we look at this, I even have the Austrian Premier Division, I have Belgium, Brazil, Colombia, you name it. I don't think there is a counter here, but pause the video and count the leagues, if you will. As you can see, I have an approximate player count of 85,000. My computer performance, 5 stars, baby. And the estimated game speed is 2 stars, and I can already tell you, it's quite alright. Now, since this is the first episode in the series, I am going to do a little bit of an introduction today. We're not going to play a game yet, but be patient. A lot of games are coming your way. But first of all, let's go over some practical stuff, shall we? I am going to use a couple of different camera setups. This one, and this one. Let's go back. I need the previous one. Now, for example, when I use this camera angle, my goal is actually to have you listen to me. And I don't mean that in a teacher-like way, but I'm simply saying I am going to dive into some stuff Football Manager is known for to be quite, maybe complicated is not even the word, but I know that if you're a new player to Football Manager, things can be quite overwhelming. The learning curve is not that easy, so we are here to make your life better. On that note, I will be doing some very detailed videos on how I tackle my training, my tactics, my youth development, scouting in general, and the whole of the end of season thing, just to prepare your squad for the next season. Those are all topics I will cover, possibly even in separate episodes, who knows. But before we get into that, we of course have some introduction to do. You might ask, hey man, why the hell would you pick VFB Stuttgart as your one safe club? Well, let me tell you. Historically speaking, this club is one of the most successful teams in German football history. If you don't believe me, Wikipedia is never lying. If we have a look at the league history, you can kind of see what I mean, I think. In 2002-2003, they were second in the Bundesliga. Then they had a couple of slippery years, but in 2007, they actually won the championship in Germany. I didn't even know that, to be quite honest with you. But since then, as you can see here, a couple of bumps in the road, and in 2016 they got relegated from the Bundesliga. They were shipped off to the Bundesliga 2, where luckily for them, they actually were crowned champions the year after. So they got back up to the Bundesliga, finished 7th, which is quite okay, I guess. But then after that, and that's only 2 years ago, they once again got relegated to the Bundesliga 2, and if you started FM20 last year, you could actually start with them in the Bundesliga 2, but in real life they finished in 2nd position, so they got promoted again, and here we are back in the top tier of German football. If we have a look at their European record, however, they are not that successful, am I right? European Cup Winners' Cup, remember that competition? They were the runners-up in 1998. and they were also the runner-up in the Euro Cup, which I think now is the Europa League, but I'm not really sure. They were the runner-up in that competition in 1989, which is of course a long time ago. That is why it is my single goal in this save to transform VFB Stuttgart from a newly promoted Bundesliga club to a European giant. Of course, one thing to help us accomplish that goal is to have a look at their facilities, because they have the Mercedes-Benz Arena, which is one of the most beautiful grounds in the whole of Germany, an over 60,000 capacity stadium. And I mean, with this, if you not just make sure, I make it sound easy. If you make sure that you are successful and you are doing well, you know that a lot of people will be coming to see you play, and that brings in a lot of cash flow. I mean, 60,000 times whatever the ticket price is, me likey. You can also see, and this is one of the main reasons why I chose Stuttgart, they have some very decent facilities. They have excellent training facilities, great youth facilities, good academy coaching, and good youth recruitment. So if you combine that big stadium with these facilities, the foundation is pretty much there. Now, another thing that is very helpful if you're trying something like this is of course a decent bank balance. Now, I think we are okay. We have almost 76 mil in the bank, and I have a transfer budget of 2.2 million pounds. I did have to switch around some things because I was already over my wage budget immediately when I started the game as manager of Stuttgart. So that is why we don't have the highest transfer budget yet, but I'm working on that. We also have a more than decent scouting budget, and of course the wage budget is 2 million pounds a month, which is okay for now, but I am expecting this to actually go up by quite a mile. And I can also see, I just see that now, next season's minimum guaranteed budget will be 12.7 mil, which is weird. I think that they already know that now, since we haven't played a single game, but I'll take it. Now let's have a look at what the club wants us to do with the facilities and the money that we are given. They want us to sign players under the age of 23 for the first team. It is a favored importance, so it's not a required or necessary thing to do. But if you do it, it will make them a little bit happier, which is always good. Then the 5-year plan, ongoing, work within wage budget is pretty much the only ongoing thing. And that is something, it is required here, and it is something that I always try to do, because it will get you in financial trouble, trust me, if you don't. For the end of current season, as I expected, avoid a relegation battle. So that pretty much means, avoid a relegation battle, shocking, but I do mean that they don't want you to end in the final 3-4 teams, because then you are in fact in the relegation battle. They want to avoid that. So I think lower mid-table finish is something the board wants us to do. Then in the cup competition, the DFB Pokal, they want us to reach the 3rd round. I have no idea how hard that cup competition is, to be honest, so we will see when we get there. And then for the 4 remaining seasons of the 5-year plan, they want us to do the same thing, continue being an established Bundesliga team, whatever that means. I mean, this is a very, here it is, continue to avoid a Bundesliga relegation battle more than half of the time. Now I think for now we can conclude that they just don't want us to end in the bottom 4 teams in the league, which I guess is doable, and God knows I'll try. Up next, we dive into a little more detail of the club, and let's start with the staff. We have 9 coaching staff at the moment, but we have room for 3 more. I've already put out adverts for that, so we can use 2 more coaches and 1 performance analyst. Same thing goes for the recruitment team because we are not even half staffed. I mean, come on, Stuttgart. We have no technical director, we have no loan manager, we only have 5 out of 8 scouts, and we have 0 recruitment analysts. So I have also put out adverts for that. As far as the medical team goes, it's pretty much the same story, only half the staff that we are allowed to have are actually at the club. We have no head of sports science, we have no physios. What the hell? Well, adverts have been placed, people will come in. And FYI, like, the rules for this save are not that hard. I'm not going to limit myself too much, but I am trying to... I'm not going to use the editor, for one, because I don't even know how, so it would probably just make things even worse if I should use it or try to use it. I'm not going to use the staff search screen, so if I want staff, I will put out adverts for that and just simply see who applies and take the best candidate, basically. The same thing goes for the player search screen in the scouting department. More on that later. Like I said, I will do maybe even a separate video on my whole scouting framework and how I tackle that. But for now, just know that I won't use the player search screen. This is the only time you'll see me do it, because this is pretty much, I'm not saying it makes the game too easy, but this is basically just a database. You can scroll and look for people and look for certain positions with tall guys, small guys, fat guys, thin guys, whatever you want. You can filter it out. And I'm just going to rely on my scouting framework. So good scouts are a must, and I will work on that. And then it's simply a matter of finding young raw talent and putting them through all the training and the development I have planned. We might have a future on our hands. And now let's meet the team. As you can see, I have kind of adjusted this screen to how I want it and how I normally do it. What did I add? I added the best position column, also the best role and best duty, because I really think it's important to know. I want players that are suited for a role and a duty as much as possible. That's why I put it up here. Agreed playing time, because you can sort on this, and I immediately see there are, how much? 9 guys that are considered to be starters. So it's, let's say you have 10 guys as an important player in their contract. There is no use of signing 5 extra guys with an important player contract, because then you will have some unhappy people when the season is like a couple months in, because they will complain that they are not starting enough games, and it messes up your whole dynamics within your squad, and you don't want that. I also added some contract things, the wage, the expiry date of their contract, and their value, of course, and maybe the most visually important thing, the current ability and the potential ability of all players. Let's start with that. If I sort by current ability, you can see that we don't really have like a standout star player at the moment. We have a lot of guys who are about the same quality, with 3.5 star current ability. If I sort by potential ability, however, you can see that we have 3 guys basically who are really our star young players, if you will. Darko Churlinov, Silas Wamangituka, loving the name already, and Roberto Massimo. Now, it is very important, if you see something like this, to immediately go to their training and set up everything the way it should. More on that later, just giving you the heads up on that. Now, I think if we go to the squad depth screen, I've already, spoiler tactic, let's go to all positions. Now, if we have a look at this, you can immediately see which positions we might need some strengthening before the actual season starts. If we start with the striker position, Nicolas Gonzalez will be our main striker. If we're using 1 strikers or 2, he is my number 1 pick as our striker. Pressing forward, advance forward, complete forward, all positions that I really like to use. He is still quite young, he's 22, and he is an Argentinian international. What do you know? How long has he been at the club? He came from Argentinos Juniors in Argentina, duh, for 7.5 million in 2018. He's probably their top goal scorer of last season, although I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that. So he is a pretty decent player, man. I mean, aggression 16, bravery 17, determination, very important one, 17, as is work rate 15, awesome. Stamina 16, so as a pressing forward, you can pretty much, he's not as good as Lukaku, but he is like the same profile as Lukaku. You can pretty much have him hammer that defense and hammer that opposing goalkeeper for 90 freaking minutes. Awesome. Apart from him, we have a couple of guys who will be our second and third tier striker. We have, of course, our friend, one of our biggest talents, Silas Wamangituka. He is a pretty tall guy, 6'2". He's actually a fully natural winger also, but spoiler, I'm not going to use wingers. Oh, I know. But he is also a fully natural striker. He can also play in the advanced forward, pressing forward, and complete forward. So that's good. Let's look at his attributes. Pace 17. He is quite fast, actually, for a tall guy. Like we already said, he's one of our biggest young talents. He's only 20 years old. And I am expecting a lot from this guy. And then we also have our Austrian giant. You see it correctly. Your eyes are not cheating on you. He is 6'7". I mean, wowee. He's also a fully natural striker, deep lying forward, target man, of course, which I might use. Who knows? Jumping reach, 18. Heading could be better, to be honest, for such a tall dude. But hey, he's only still 23 years old, and like I said, he is from Austria. Now let's move on to the wingers, and I already mentioned I'm not going to use wingers, but just for the sake of it, let's have a look at the players. That same guy is our top left winger, Gonzalez. Then we have Tommy with an H, 25-year-old German guy. Nothing really spectacular, to be honest. And that's about it, really, as far as top-notch left wingers go. On the right side of the pitch, we have this guy, Gonzalo Castro, one of our older players, and I think, yep, he's a team leader. He is a natural midfielder. We'll get into that later. So I'm not going to play him on the wing, but just so you know, he is basically our best right winger. Once again, Gonzalez, we already discussed him. And that's about it. So I think you have an idea, or you're starting to get an idea, why I am not using wing players in my tactics. We will see in a moment. Then the attacking midfielder position, or as I like to call it, Sumi, the number 10 position. We have the same guy we already saw, Gonzalo Castro. He will probably be my main number 10 because he can play. He's not a fully natural number 10, but hey, can play as an advanced playmaker and an attacking midfielder, and even as a shadow striker if necessary. But he's a very decent player. And then I think the actual best player at the club, Daniel Didavi. He's a 30-year-old German guy. He is a fully natural number 10 as an attacking midfielder or an advanced playmaker. And I mean, come on, man. First touch, 16. Long shots, 17. Yes, please. Let's move on to the center of midfield. First of all, we have again Castro. We saw him. But then we have a couple of new faces. First of which, Wataru Endo. He is a 27-year-old Japanese international. His best role is a defensive midfielder, but he can also play as a fully natural MC in the ball-winning midfielder position. Yay. And also as a central midfielder, Carrilero. He can pretty much do it all, to be honest. Nothing really spectacular about his attributes except for teamwork 17, which is always good as an MC. But he will most definitely be in my tactical system. Then we have Pascal Stenzel, 24-year-old German guy who actually is a right wing back, but he can also play as a DM or an MC, and he's not too bad either. I mean, come on. Same story as Endo, teamwork very high, Natural fitness 16. Okay, also good. I think he can probably play as a deep lying playmaker. Yep, and a carrilero and a central midfielder. Very useful player indeed. Then my Belgium friend, because I am, should you not know, from Belgium, Aurel Mangala. He's 22 years old. He is also one of the biggest young talents. Well, he is already 22, but that's still young, right? He's one of the biggest young talents at the club. Fully natural MC, box-to-box midfielder, deep-lying playmaker, mezzala and ball-winning midfielder. Very high stamina, which is awesome for an MC. Also high natural fitness, high balance, bravery, and work rate. Determination also not too shabby with 15. I am expecting a lot, along with that striker, from this guy. Now I guess that is about it for the center of midfield, because Anton, he is a defender. So let's move on to the defense. Let's start with the wingback positions, because spoiler once again, I will be using these positions in all of my tactical systems with Stuttgart. Needless to say, the players that we have available at those positions are crucial for our success. Let's start at the left hand side. We have Ailton, who is a pretty decent player, but he is transfer listed. He was transfer listed when I got here. For some reason he's mad and unhappy, so I will simply let him go. He's 25-year-old, he's Brazilian. Like I said, he's a pretty decent player, but if he wants to move on, he will move on. Then we have, luckily, because I was kind of bummed when I saw that Ailton was transfer listed, but luckily for us, we have more than his successor, 22-year-old Croatian guy Borna Sosa. A fully natural left wing back. He can play as pretty much every position there. Let's look at his attributes. He has good pace and good acceleration, but like I said, he is still young. He has a lot of potential, I guess. Yep, he has 4-star potential. So I am expecting a lot from this guy at the left wing back position. Now, since this position is so important to me, as is the right wing back, of course, but we'll get to that, this is my primary focus in the upcoming or in the ongoing transfer window. So I will try and strengthen the team in those positions with a couple more players. That being said, let's move on to the right wing back. This is a joke. Pablo Maffeo, who is a pretty decent right wing back, guys. Fully natural also. 3.5-star current ability wing back. They have put him out on loan. And if we look at his history, they bought him for 8 million from Girona in Italy. No, that's not Italy. Geography, Jochen. Spain. They loaned him out immediately, but I know that's maybe a loan back clause thing. Which was included in this contract. But then you finally have him at your disposal, and what did they do? They loaned him out again to Huesca, also a Spanish side. So I am a little confused, really, because as you can see, he was my best right wing back. Now let's not despair yet, because this guy, we already saw him here in the center of midfield. Pascal Stenzel, 24-year-old German guy. He is basically, since Maffeo is gone, he is our best right wing back. So we will play him. He is not fully natural either. Damn it. Like I said, I really want to have a couple more guys in that position. I think you can see why. Now, he's not a bad player at all. Natural fitness 16, stamina 15, also very good for the wing back position. Teamwork 18 and bravery 16. Also his marking, like his defensive skills, are pretty much on point in that position. He has a marking 11, tackling 11. Combine that with pretty decent attacking stats, technique and passing 14, which is okay. It's not that I don't want to play this guy, but he is basically the only one I have. Finally, let's move on. You know what? Let's first do our goalkeepers, because we have two equally good goalkeepers. We have this guy, Bredlow, 25-year-old German goalkeeper. He is our backup, but he is equally as good as our starting goalkeeper, Gregor Kobel, who is a 22-year-old Swiss guy. So I'll probably just respect that hierarchy. He is our first choice goalkeeper, and he will be for this season. And then finally the center of defense, because another tactical spoiler, I am going to play with 3 central defenders. So I might need some talent at that position. Luckily, we have some. We have Waldemar Anton, influential player, 24-year-old German guy, pretty tall, 6'2". I mean, a decent defender, and he can play as a central defender, ball-playing defender, a libero, which I'm also going to use. So he is a very useful member of our squad. We also have Marc-Oliver Kempf, 25-year-old German guy, also 6'1". Bravery 16, heading 16. He is really good in the air. Strength 16. So, I mean, once again, like Anton, the previous guy, a pretty decent defender. And the third guy we also have is Endo, but he is a midfielder. I think, where is my... here he is. This is the one I want. 2 players I want to show you. First of which, Konstantinos Mavropanos. Wow. He is a loan from Arsenal. 3-star current ability. 22 years old Greek guy. And he's a pretty decent defender also. Jumping reach, once again, a very good header. So I am loving me some set piece setups, because I will, like the Air Force, can I say Luftwaffe? Is that like a war joke I can't make? I'm not sure. Cut it out, sue me. But we will send our Luftwaffe forward with every corner that we get. And that other guy I wanted to show you, maybe he is even the only guy that you guys know, Holger Badstuber. He is a 31-time capped German international. He's 31 years old, has played at Bayern, so that is where I knew him from, at least. Then he went on loan to Schalke, and then for free to VFB Stuttgart. Can also play as a ball-playing defender. He is a highly influential player, and he is still pretty decent. Jumping reach 16, heading 11, composure, decisions, positioning, all pretty decent stuff. So guys, in summary, I think we are pretty much okay. But my main focus, like I mentioned, is the wingback position. I especially want an extra right wingback, but I also want an extra left wingback, because probably we'll get some injuries or suspensions or whatever. And if so, we are in a bit of a pickle. FYI, these videos of Stuttgart über alles will come out on Saturday and Sunday, so I won't be doing any weekday releases. But of course, you can catch up in the weekend. And so we have reached the final part of this introduction episode. I will show you the 2 tactics that I have created. I won't go into too much detail yet, because I have some fine-tuning to do, trust me. But I hope after this you will have like the overall idea of what my plan is with Stuttgart. My first and primary tactic is this one. We will be using a counter-attack system. Why? Well, I think if we have a quick look at the Bundesliga and how the media previews everything, you can see that we are predicted to not do very well. To be honest, we are of course a newly promoted team, as is Arminia Bielefeld, who are even doing worse according to the media than we are. But safe to say, we are not the best team in the league. So I think against most teams, at this point at least, it is very, very wise to do some counterattacking. So that brings us to this first system. We will use the middle of the pitch to hopefully start the counterattack. And if we go into the in possession tab, we will keep everything very narrow. We will focus, like I said, everything through the middle of the pitch, and we will work our way into the box. Now, I am ticking the be more expressive note here, but I am, like I said, I need some fine-tuning to do. I am not sure about that. If we look at the end transition tab, of course, we will, when possession has been lost, counter press and then use the counter attack when we have the ball back on our feet. Now, which positions and roles am I using here? I have 3 central defenders, one of which is a libero, and I will go into my tactics in a more detailed video. But I will tell you this, the main purpose of this libero is to play like a covering role for the two central defenders. So he won't be man marking, but he will do some covering, at least I hope so. Then we also have the two wingbacks. I've mentioned them a lot in this episode, very important position. I am not going to set them to be too attacking, but of course they have the entire flank in front of them, so hopefully we will see them give some crosses. In midfield I am using a triangle consisting of a deep lying playmaker with a support duty, a ball winning midfielder in a defend duty, very important position this one, because I am relying on him most to simply steal the ball from the opposing team and start the counter attack. And we also of course have a number 10 position, an attacking midfielder on a supporting duty. Now for the two striker positions I have gone all out in attack. We have a pressing forward in an attacking duty and a target man in that very same duty. Why a target man, you might ask? I don't use it a lot, to be honest, at least not in the, I think, past 5 editions of Football Manager. But we have two very tall guys in Wamangituka and our Austrian giant friend Kalacic. So I would be stupid to not use this. Now for my second tactic, I am using a very similar system. It is a little bit more intense than the first one. But this is actually a possession-based system. We are in a positive mentality. When am I going to use this? Well, if we are noticing that we are better than like the bottom 5 or bottom 10 teams, who knows? I might start using this system as well against the weaker teams. And you might argue, but hey, in your other system, your more defensive-minded counterattack system, you have 2 strikers. Correct. But I can also change this around. So now I have basically moved my triangle from the center of midfield to attack. Now in a lot of ways, position-wise, this system is identical to the first one. But like I said, the main difference is the triangle shifting to the front, so we still have 3 guys at the back. I might even put this one as a libero. I'm not sure. I'll see about that. We still have the wing backs. We still have 2 guys in the center of midfield. Maybe also in the same roles. I might switch this to a deep lying playmaker. And this one too. Maybe we'll even play with 2 shadow strikers. I know, right? But we'll see. The main thing is we have a triangle at front. I can always shift this around so we play with 2 strikers. We will just see how this tactics work and when and how we are going to use it. So guys, I hope I have showed you enough introduction. I guess I have, because we are probably about half an hour in at this point. Scusi. But I really wanted to show you the things that I want to do at Stuttgart, and hopefully now you have an idea of what the plan is with this club. In tomorrow's episode, we will play our first game in the league, and by then I will probably have done some tactical tweaking. So we might go a little bit deeper into the tactics. And I'll hopefully have signed some extra players, because I do think, I'm not complaining, but I do think we will need them. And with that guys, the first episode of Stuttgart über alles is in the books. If you have suggestions, I mean, I am going to do, as I told you, very detailed videos on certain aspects of the game, tactics, training, you name it. But if you have suggestions on that topic, or if there are things that you want me to show you how I do it, let me know down in the comment section. That is what it's for. Also, if you like what you see, if you have enjoyed this first episode, give me a big thumbs up on the video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, swap on those notifications, and we will do this together. I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.